morning. Let's go ahead and start like we usually do. So we're going to find all that length for our spine here. And we're going to start with those chin tucks back for 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's just reset. We're going to do our head turn side to side now. Ready? And begin. 1, back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. All right. So now we're going to go into the next part of our warm up for time. 30 seconds each move. We're going to do 3 rounds through. And then today we're going to do 10 exercises all in a row. Rest and repeat 2 more times. Okay. So all of them in one go. Okay. So warm up first. So we're going to start with those cherry pickers. It's 4 count cherry pickers out, middle, in, and then we're going to add an arm circle back and around, right? So out, middle, inwards, arm circle. Seated, it's going to look the same here. We're just going to do it from our seated position. Okay, that's our first one. We're going to go right into a ham curl pullback after that. So if we're seated, we're tapping, we're sitting at the edge of our chair, tapping back those toes. Okay, yep, standing. We're just going to be pulling those heels back towards our glutes. All right, our third move is a side step lateral raise here, okay? All right, so lateral movements, seated, tap, tap, okay? And then our final warm-up move is going to be a squat, pivot, and reach. So we're going to squat, and then we're going to pivot and reach up and over. Squat, reach up and over. If we're seated, we're going to go leg extension, reach, reach. Okay, this is your seated pattern. Leg extension, reach and twist, okay? All right, guys, let's get started, starting with those 4 count cherry pickers with arm circles. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, that's loud. We're gonna reach out, middle, and in, circle. Move at a pace that feels good for you. We don't want to get dizzy or anything like that. We're just thinking of tapping on the body, the back side of the body and the shoulders here, saying, hey, wake up. Let's get moving. Let's get that blood flow going. Okay. 5 more seconds here. We're going to go into those ham curl pullbacks. 2 and 1. Okay, we're going to go right into it here. If you're seated, remember you're a little bit closer towards the edge of your chair so you can tap those toes back and get that knee joint bending there a little bit. Warming up here, right? Waking everything up. 5 more seconds here, and then we're going to go to those side steps with those lateral raises. Here we go. So step, step. All right, you're hitting those lateral taps if you're seated here. In our warm-up, we want to make sure we're moving our body forward and back, side to side, and also in rotation movements, right? Moving all the different directions that our body can. 5 more seconds here. We're going to go into that squat, pivot, and reach. Here we go. Remember, if you're seated, alternating leg extension and then an alternating reach. This is our last exercise, and we're going to go back to the top. We're going to do 3 rounds through, okay? Going back to those 4 count cherry pickers in about 5 seconds. Here we go. Out, middle, in, circle. You choose your pace, okay? Going back to those ham curls in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Side step with that lateral raise is next. 2 and 1. Here we go. Step together, step together. Five more seconds here. Then we're going to go back to our squat, pivot, and reach. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Squat, pivot, and reach. Getting that rotation, feeling that nice stretch through the side body. Remember, if you're seated, it's alternating leg extension, alternating reach. Back to the top with that cherry picker one more time in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Final set. Out, middle, in, circle. Five more seconds here. We're going to hit our last set of those ham curls. And here we go. That's it. So we're getting 6 minutes straight of movement here. Working through all our different joints. Get us nice and warmed up. Going back to that lateral raise and side step in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Side step. And then we just have one more exercise after this one, that squat, pivot, and reach. And then we're going to get into our 10-minute block. 3, 2, and 1. Final set. Squat, pivot, and reach. Three, 2, and 1. Nice work, guys. That was our warm-up. So go ahead and get a drink here. Next, 45-15. Our first exercise is going to be our goalpost fly with internal and external rotation, okay? So we're really focused on shoulders here, mobility, and stability, okay? So we want to keep all that length in the spine. If we're standing, we're going to keep a tucked pelvis here so everything stays nice and solid as we pull back here, okay? Right? Because if we're not tucked, what happens is we might kind of pull forward like that, and we don't want that, right? We want to tuck so that we have that base to pull back on, okay? All right, that's our first one. Rope pull is second. We're going to pair exercises that are similar every 2 exercises. So this is our second one. Okay, still working on back muscles here. This is going to look the same seated or standing. The next one is going to be our goblet sit squat. Okay, or you're seated and alternating leg extension. Our next one's going to be our slip rope squat. So after we do our sit squat, we're going to go over and under that rope. That's it. If we're standing, we're going to sidestep it. We're going to go under that imaginary rope. Yep. and right back over, okay? And after that, we're going to hit a bicep curl march. It's gonna look the same seated. And then after that, we're gonna go into a body weight, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, hold. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 back-to-back balances. Then after that, we're gonna go into our hinge and row. Okay, yep, hinge and row, and our lateral shift. So if we're standing, we're gonna come wide. We're gonna think of that hip touching, going back behind us, right? Drive it up. Hip comes back, right? The weight of our body should be in the heel of our foot. So if you feel your toe popping, your heel popping off, you're probably coming forward through your knee, right? Let me show you from this side. So we want this, okay, versus this. You see the difference there? Hip, and you might be doing that too. I just want to make sure that, you know, those little tips help us, right? Okay, and then after that, we're keeping those core exercises we did last week, okay? So I'm switching the order, okay? Today, we're gonna lean back in our chair, okay? And we're gonna exhale and twist. And then that second one, we're gonna lean back, 1, 2, 3, 4, reach, okay? So this one you might want your chair for, just because it's kind of like part of the core work is leaning back, okay? All right, guys, that's our 5 or our 10 exercises. Round 1 will kind of be remembering them all, and then round 2 and round 3 will be like, all right, we got it, okay? All right, we're gonna start body weight, goalpost fly, internal and external rotation. If you're standing, just make sure you're tucking that pelvis, okay? Here we go, guys, in 3, 2, and 1. We are on, okay? So if you're standing with me, keep that pelvis tucked, core engaged, and we're focused on the movement through our shoulders, both as we pull back and then as we drop down forward and come back here, okay? From here, we're gonna go right into our second body weight movement with that rope pull. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, great. We got 15 seconds, and then we're gonna hit those rope pulls. Again, if you're standing, this is another one where we really need to keep our pelvis tucked. We're gonna feel nice and solid here so that when we use some intensity to pull, here we go. You've got something to leverage yourself on, right? Still working on some shoulder stability here. Next exercise, if you're standing with me, we're gonna grab our weight for our goblet sit squats, okay? Moving on to the lower body next. 3, 2, and 1, okay? So if you're standing with me, we're gonna grab a weight for our sit squat. And if you're seated, remember, we're gonna be doing alternating leg extensions. You're gonna keep your foot flexed. Let's get ready. Feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. Here we go. We're gonna tap it down, drive through the heels up, okay? I want you to focus on keeping your belly button pulled back towards your spine and pushing the floor away to stand up, right? Like putting your weight into your heels to drive up. Think of pushing the floor away as what's making you stand up versus my head's going up, right? All right, we want to think from the source. Two and 1, okay. Next one we're gonna do is that slip rope squat, okay? So we're gonna go under and over, okay? If you're seated, keep those that gate wide, and you're gonna go over and under just like this, okay? Here we go. All right, otherwise there's that imaginary rope. Over and under. Go at a pace that feels good for you. You know, these, we just stay on the clock so that we can finish in a timely fashion. So if you need a little extra recovery, that's totally okay. Remember, the quality is what we're looking for of our work, not so much of the quantity. We want to make sure the quality is good first, and then we increase the quantity, right? 3, 2, and 1. Whew, okay. Bicep curl march is next, okay? So pair of dumbbells here. This is going to look the same seated or standing. What we're going to imagine is that we're holding a piece of paper in between our elbow and our rib cage. Here we go. So we curl up, okay? Sometimes it helps to find a focal point to stare at. Past halfway. Keep that paper pinned between your elbows and rib cage. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Nice work. We're going to put those weights down. We're not done with our marching though. Now we're going to hold opposite hand foot for 3 seconds before we go on the other side, okay? Ready? Same seated. And begin. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. If you need a little more of a challenge and you want to bring your arm all the way up, you can. Switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. That's just a challenge. You don't have to do it if it doesn't feel good. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. One more. 1, 2, 3, and switch. Good. Okay. Next, we're going to go to our hinge and row. Okay, so we're going to grab our weights. We're going to roll our shoulders back and down. Okay, back and down. Feet are under hips. Okay, knuckles out to the side. We're going to hinge back, row, and then use our hamstrings and glutes to push those hips back forward. This is going to look the same seated. You're just keeping that length through the spine as you lean forward to hit your row. And then you're going to come back up with a neutral spine. One of our staple exercises here. We're working the glutes and the hamstrings when we're bent over and pushing back up. And then when we pull those elbows back, those dumbbells towards our pockets, we're hitting our lats and our upper body, our back muscles. And time. Okay. Next, lateral shift. You can do this with or without weight, okay? Either way is fine. Our toes are forward. We're really wide with that stance. And we're going to go ahead, hip back, drive through the heel. Hip back, drive through the heel. Excellent. Okay. If you're seated, we're doing our lateral taps. All right, so we're working one leg at a time. All right, really pressing through the heel on that bent leg to come back up to that standing position. We want to feel those muscles in our glute and our leg working as we come back up to center. So really focus. A lot of it's mind-muscle connection and time on that one. All right, 2 more. We've got our core ones. I'm switching the order this time. We're going to lean back into our chair here, kind of hollow out. We're gonna cross body here. Okay, ready? Here we go. Getting that rotation, exhaling as we're pulling that knee up. Trying to scoop back. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Woo, okay, a little recovery here. The next one we're gonna do, okay, is our Russian twist for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna lean it forward and back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, forward, back. 2. Reach. So we're getting all this rotational work for our obliques and our core. Reach, back. 10 more seconds here. Reach, and time. All right. That was our first round, okay? So that's what we've got. 2 more rounds through. We'll take a quick little drink, and now we've got 1 round in. We'll get going with what we already experienced now, okay? So starting with that goal post fly, internal and external rotation. Remember, keep that pelvis tilted if you're standing. Let's get ready. Here we go. Here we go. Out, down, up, return. Halfway through this one. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Recover. We're going to go into that rope pull next, okay? So still working on that shoulder stability here. Still tucking our pelvis if you're standing. If you're seated, you're just keeping that core, that belly button pulled back. Here we go. You know, I'm kind of bringing some intensity to it, right? This one's a little, we're trying to be quick as we pull something down. Might elevate your heart rate a little bit because we're going a little quicker than maybe we would. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Okay, moving on from our shoulders onto our hips. We're going to do our sit squat, and we're going for our alternating leg extension if you're seated, okay? If you're standing with me, our heels are about shoulder width apart here. Here we go. We're going to tap it down, drive up, okay? Tap it down, and drive up. Remember, quality over quantity, okay? Thinking of pushing the floor away with the heels of your foot to stand up. That's going to help us develop that mind-muscle connection in the muscles we use to get up and down off of our chair. Our glutes, quadriceps. 10 more seconds here. 2, and 1. Okay. We're going to put that weight aside if you're using one. We're going to do our slipper squats. If you're seated, we're going to keep that stance wide, and we're going to go under and over that, or under and to the other side of that rope. Feel that nice lengthening through your spine here. Standing, we're going under and over. Under and over, right? Like there's this imaginary rope I got to duck my head under so I don't bump my head on it. All right, you can choose your intensity on these, okay? We're standing, we're thinking about how that weight shifts from one leg to the other. There's this moment where when we're underneath the rope, we have to pick up that other leg and all of our weight is on that one leg, right? Pay attention to that little moment. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Woo. Bicep curl march next, okay? It's going to look the same seated. Remember what we're doing here is imaginary piece of paper between our elbow and rib cage, okay? Here we go. We're going to curl and alternate that march. The same seated, we're standing here. Ooh. Ten more seconds here. Then we'll put the weights down. We're going to do our 3 count hold march next. 2 and 1. Nice work. Put those down. We're going to hold for 3 seconds on each leg. Coming up next, and we're looking to make our opposite hand and knee work at the same time, okay? Ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. Remember, if you need a challenge option, 1, 2, 3, switch. You can reach that arm all the way up. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, switch. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3, and switch. Nice work. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our hinge and row. Okay, so we're going to grab our weights. All right, rolling our shoulders back and down. Okay, here we go. Pushing those hips back, pulling up into our row, and then pushing our hips forward, squeezing our glutes and hamstrings. When you're seated here, we're just keeping that length through our spine, hinging forward slightly, pulling those dumbbells back towards the pocket, keeping that length to come right back up, okay? Hinge forward slightly towards the edge of your chair so you have some room to work through your reps. Thinking about those large muscles in your back behind the rib cage in the seated position working right now. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next one is our lateral shift. So if you're seated, we're coming out into those lateral taps. Okay. And if we're standing, with or without weight here, nice and wide, toes forward. Right. I'm going to do it from the side here. Here we go. Hip back, drive through the heel. Other side. So one leg lengthens and the other one bends, and then we drive up through that heel on that bent leg, activating our glute muscles. 5 seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. Back to our core set, okay? So seated, we're kind of sloping, scooping back slightly, right? Elbow to knee. Here we go. All right, feel that rotation as we twist. Nice strong exhale. And with that exhale, you're actually thinking of contracting your stomach, right? Like you're blowing the air out of your belly. 10 more seconds. Three, 2, and 1. Nice work. Recover. Okay, that one can be a little tough there. You're gonna do those Russian twists to reach next, so 4 of them. So we'll lean back. We're gonna twist from one side to another for 4, and we'll bring our hands forward, reach it forward, bring it back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back to center. Reach. Bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to center. Reach. Bring it back. 2, 3, 4. Center. Reach. Bring it back. Center. Reach. Bring it back. Last one. 2, 3, 4. Center. Reach and time. Okay. Round 2. Get a little drink if you need it. We're going to go through one more time through here. Okay. All right. So final set through. I love these ones always move so fast when it's just one through. All right. Okay. So we're going to go back to our shoulder mobility here. Okay. So pulling back, forward, up, together. Okay. If you're standing with me, let's keep that pelvis tucked. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Try to keep those shoulders as healthy as we can. Five more seconds here. And time. Good. Okay, a little recovery. Final set of these rope pulls. Okay, remember we're adding some intensity, right? Let's get ready. 3, 2, and 1. That's it. Putting a little bit of intensity into that pull down. And these can get our heart rate going because we are adding that intensity, that quickness. All right, so. Ten more seconds. 2, and 1. All right, all done with those. Final round of our sit squats, or if we're seated, we're going to have that flex foot and alternate those leg extensions. Okay, let's get ready and begin. All right, we're going to sink it back and down. Push the floor away with the heels of our foot to stand up, right? So pushing the floor away, I want you to imagine that's what's making you stand back up, right? Instead of thinking my head is lifting up towards the ceiling, you don't want to think that. You want to think my feet are pressing into the floor. It's going to help us activate our glutes and our quads. Keep that belly button pulled back towards your spine. Three, two, and one. All right. Final set of our slip rope squats. Remember, if you're seated, wide stance here, under and over. Okay, feel that nice spinal lengthening. If we're standing, we're going to step it over. Here we go. Under and over. All right, you can go as slow or as fast as you want to. We're trying to pay attention to how there's that moment in time when we step over, all the weight transfers to one leg because the other leg has to meet that one that's stabilizing, right? It's a little moment in time where we're on one leg. Dial into that. Ten seconds. Also mobilizing through the hips by taking this wide step. And time. Okay, all done with those. Last set of those bicep curl marches. Working on these arms as well as our balance, okay? Let's hold that paper, that imaginary piece of paper, in between our elbows and our rib cage. We can't let it drop. Good. 10 more seconds. Two and one. Okay. Whew. Weights aside. We're not done with that march. Now we're going to move on to that 3 count hold. We want the opposite hand and foot up, seated or standing. And if you'd like that challenge, we'll take a straight arm up, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, switch. 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 We got about 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, switch. Last one. 1, 2, 3, and switch. Okay, nice work. Next one, hinge and row. Okay, so we're gonna work the back side of the body and our back muscles here, okay? So feet under hips, toes are forward, roll those shoulders back and down, belly button to spine. We're gonna push the hips back, pull the weights towards our pockets, push the hips forward, squeezing our glutes and hamstrings. Think about keeping your neck in line with your back. Looking at a fixed point on the floor in front of you. Trying to feel the back of the legs work, the glutes, and our back muscles. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Lateral shift is next, okay? So either lateral taps if you're seated, or nice and wide with that stance if you're standing with me. Come to the side this way. All right, here we go. Hip back, drive through the heel. Back, right? So I'm trying to keep one leg lengthened, and then the other leg, I have the weight in, and I'm pressing through the heel to come back up. Working all these lateral moves today to help improve our balance. Five more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay. Last ones, guys, are alternating cross body. Okay. Core work here. See that we're scooping here. Okay. Here we go. We exhale as we twist. And I'm trying to think of contracting my belly on that exhale. Past halfway. Whew, 10 seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Little recovery. We're not done with core yet, though. We've got one more. We're going to hit that Russian twist next. Okay. We'll shake it out. All right. So we got that 4 count Russian twist, and then we're going to reach it forward and pull it back. All right. Ready? Begin. Lean it back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Come back to center. Reach it forward. Pull it back. Cross. 1, 2, 3, 4. Center. Reach. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, and time. Nice work, guys. Go ahead and take a second to get a drink here. We're going to pull down next, okay? And we'll start from the bottom to the top here today, okay? So we're going to start with some flexing and pointing through our ankles. You can even like put your hand on the wall if you want and just flex and point from that standing position. And then circle 5 each direction as well, seated or standing here. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other leg, flexing and pointing for 5, and then circles each direction. Good. From there, we can go into a seated figure 4 here, crossing one leg over. If you want to, you can also do it like from the floor, like our lying figure 4 stretch if you like, okay? So either that works for you here. All right. Just gonna hold, we're gonna feel that. If you're seated with me, you're gonna pull that length through your spine as you lean forward slightly. And we're searching for that stretch on the like outside of that glute on that bent leg. Good. When you're ready, we'll switch sides here. Same thing, other side. All right. From here, we'll go into a reach, okay? So if you're, see, we can also do this from the floor here where we're just gonna reach over and kind of try to look behind that back shoulder. You can be sitting in a chair or sitting on the floor here. We're just trying to twist through our thoracic spine, feel that stretch. Same thing, other side. You can be seated in a chair for this one too. Good, and then next we'll go into our neck and trap here. So we're just gently pulling and pressing, working our way up the body here. And when you're ready, same thing, other side, gently pull. Good, come back to center. All right, and then the last thing we'll do here is some cat-cows here. Okay, so we're just gonna arch and tuck. You can do it from a seated position on the floor here on your hands and knees. Just kind of going through our spine here to close it out. Let's do 2 more. And 2. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take a nice big inhale up, exhale, palms to heart. One more time, inhale, palms together, exhale, palms to heart. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's workout. If I can help you with anything, I'm always happy to. Yeah, so let me know. Yeah, you know, I think that what we want to focus on with that is our shoulders, our hips, and our core, and like our spine. So for posture, you know, even things like you may not be able to come on the hands and knees. You don't have to do it from the floor here. You know, we can do this from our chair position, right, where we're right here. But think about mobilizing through your spine here. And if you take notice, like my shoulders have to go up, my hips have to tuck under, and then I have to reverse that, right? So I'm mobilizing my hips and shoulders, which is making my spine create that movement, okay? So we'll mobilize first, right? And then things like our goalpost fly are like shoulder stabilizers, okay? Or moves that strengthen the back of our shoulders to help. A lot of times what happens is over life, we're like this at a desk, driving our car, whatever, okay? And so we get really stretched and long through the back here, weak, okay? And we get really tight in the front, right? So you can imagine how doing things like pulling back, we have to use our muscles to pull back. And then we simultaneously get that stretch through the front, okay? So these are little ways to help correct posture, okay? You can also do something like a T fly or a Y raise, okay? So gentle movements that help train our muscles to work on the way back while simultaneously lengthening us in the front, okay? And then with our hip work, when we're doing things like our balance poses, or when I have us shifting from one side to another, okay? We're trying to strengthen our hips to stabilize a little better. So I would say a couple things. I do, for me personally, I think there's a couple components. Genetically, if I lose weight, I'm going to lose it off my upper body first, okay? All right, I'll lose it off my lower body last. So there's genetic components that sometimes are part of it. Second thing, protein, okay? Our protein is important to eat for building muscle, okay? That is the building block of developing muscle is protein, okay? So just be aware when you're eating your meals, like think, do I have some sort of protein source that I can add to my meals when I'm eating, okay? Make sure you're including that, you know, if you're having pasta, you know, maybe a meatball with it. You know what I'm saying? Like not just the pasta. So sometimes, you know, just seeing, am I getting enough, you know, protein with all my meals? And then lastly, what I do personally is a lot of things like push-ups. So what I want to do is I'm going to spin this around so I can show you a wall push-up, okay? I do my push-ups from the floor, but I want to show you, one second, guys, here. I'll show you this corner here, okay, where I have some wall space, okay? What you want to do here is create, can you see, you guys can see me, right? You want to create an angle, a slight angle where you feel like you're in a wall plank, okay? Like you should feel like just like this is work, okay? You could even do things like balance exercise with your hands on your wall right here like this, right? But for a wall push-up, I want to think of elbows coming down, my nose is coming towards the wall, and then I'm pushing my palms away, okay? We're coming down. See how my elbows are below my shoulders here? This is how you want to push up off the wall. What we're not looking for is elbows coming out like this, right? This isn't going to develop our muscles properly, okay? we have to make sure that our elbows are staying underneath the shoulders. Drive it away, okay? If that feels easy for you, another way to do that is off your countertop in your kitchen, where it's a little bit lower, but it's still not on the floor, you know, so that could be helpful as well. Yes, the weights are going to help train your muscle, right, when we're doing those exercises. So that is the purpose of, you know, using the weights, right, so we can train the muscle. When we do our body weight, sometimes we can still, even with this, we're still working our back muscle right here when we do this. But when we do our body weight stuff, we're also working through joint mobility. And they really go hand in hand, okay? Because if your joint mobility is not that good, if you feel like your range of motion is limited, it's going to be harder to work your muscle through its full range too, right? Because everything's synergistic in our body. So if you find that you feel like you have a limited range of motion through your joints, you're like, oh gosh, it's like hurts, or I can't lift my head up. Spend some time trying to think about your joint and like movements through your joint, like the, you know, like these ones that I'm talking about, right? Just try to work on mobility, right? And then we can do things like add those push-ups and those bicep curls with the weights to work on the muscle as well. No, I mean, and you increase the reps, but you always keep in mind that the quality is the most important part, because if you're like, if you get 5 good ones and then you feel like you're off the wall, like push-ups, and then you feel like your form is breaking down, don't try to take it till 10. What you should do is rest, give yourself a little time to do it again with good form, because you know how it is. I mean, like if we learn how to do something the wrong way, or with like in, you know, then we have to learn how to undo that pattern and then do it right, you know, the next time. It's harder that way, right? So don't ever feel like, oh, I just have to get 10 because 10 sounds like a great number. If you get 5 good ones and then you're like, oh, the next one I feel like I'm just, it's not there. Rest. When you're ready, do it again. Yes, absolutely. Arm and core. Yeah, because I mean, you figure your mountain climbers are like your plank, right? So you're in your plank right here, all right? And then we're adding that core element by pulling those knees in. This is an excellent one. And Sumi, if that's one where like if when we were doing these, if you're like, I need an extra challenge there, maybe you want to do your mountain climbers, okay? I don't always typically coach that one on here because I don't want to do too much on the floor that if it's difficult for everyone to get up and down off the floor, but I can try to shout out more options that are floor friendly for people who want a little bit more as well. So yeah, mountain climbers are a great choice. Yep. And even here, guys, when we're doing a plank, I'm hollowed out. So what I mean is my shoulders are protracted. I'm not down here. Down here, right? Is trying to push through my shoulders, round through this part right here. I'm rounding, pushing up, and then I'm tucking my pelvis under, like I tell us to do when we're standing. Okay, so this is going to be our strongest plank. We want to be stacked through our joints and our arms. We don't want to be like up here, right? That's going to make it a lot harder for us, okay? All right, and then a mat climb is just simply when we pull one knee in and then the other. Do this from the wall though, too, guys. You can do, just like I was saying with the push-ups, you can do it from your wall, creating that angle. You can do it from your countertop if you need a challenge somewhere in between the floor and the wall, okay? Maybe I can try to find something to show a countertop variation one of these workouts, just so, you know, maybe you guys have the ability to kind of figure it, like, you know, change your location if you need to, and you want to try something, you know, a little bit more, right? For that core, we can always try that. And that's going to help with your arm strength as well, because we're holding ourselves in that position, right? That's exactly it. You know, it's like, as you get stronger, you can lower that elevation. You know, at some point, maybe the countertop, you're like, yeah, I got that. And then maybe you can't see my, you know, and then here I am from a chair position, right? I'm a little bit lower yet. That's how, when I'm training people how to do push-ups in the gym, I have them start with like a barbell rack from above. Oh. Right? They get stronger. We lower that down so that they can work with that good technique, right? And gradually progress in that intensity, that strength, slowly and carefully is good, right? I think mindfulness, paying attention what we're doing while we're doing it is so essential, because it's easy sometimes to be like, you're going through the motions and you're like, oh wait, I got to do this today. I got to call that person. You know what I mean? Like sometimes our mind will just, wander off. It's always good to try to come back and say, what's my body doing? Attach my thoughts to the movement that I am doing so that I have the strongest mind muscle connection I can, That's definitely an important factor.